and nowhere else. So, I'm looking forward to today.
Well, it's radios like you're doing. It's just kind of changing America around. I don't know if it's too late for it to happen, but at least it's out there. You can't get it from NBC, CBS, or ABC. So just thank
Right.
God for this Underground Railroad, man.
Right. So let's, I got a couple of list of topics, things that's been occurring in the news, but you only get one side of the story. So, I definitely want to hear your side and get the truth. To start out with, it's been all over the news lately, and I've been reading a lot on my computer. There's a lawsuit, from Byron Allen.
Yeah.
He's actually filing a lawsuit against Al Sharpton, Comcast, Time Warner,
Right.
and the NAACP, and it's alleging that media companies are discriminating against black-owned businesses and paid activists like Sharpton to whitewash his practices. The complaint alleges that Comcast gave large donations to Sharpton, the NAACP, and other civil rights groups to make it appear that the cable company was promoting diversity even while it was failing to follow through on the promise to do so. This is a $20 billion lawsuit. Gregory, what's going on with this?
Well, first you have to know Byron Allen. I mean, Byron Allen was in the business almost before Sharpton was born.
Right.
And his integrity, and his intelligence, he would never play with a court like that because you get in serious trouble, okay?
Right.
And so there's something there. And the interesting thing about when you file a lawsuit, you got to start bringing records in of who you file it. See, the judge don't know what's going on. If I said you slapped me and took my credit cards, and you in New York, and I was in Paris that day, right? So the judge don't know. So then once they review it and implement it, then the whole wheel start changing. You got to do depositions, you have to do this, you have to do that. Most folks will settle out of court rather than have all that stuff come out on their personal business. And then again, if they a public case, then that's another serious thing. And so naturally, you have people say, well, that's not true and that's not true. So you go in with discovery and you find out different things. And then the court's down once they find out you're serious. Usually when they're dealing with folks, they don't have to worry because they are treated kitty and they can just hold you till your money run out. But because these folks are savvy with the news, they know how it happens. So this one won't be done undercover. And so you have people are shocked. And the word I'm getting from the people in New York who know, they said, this is serious. So sit back and wait and see what. But that's not the first time those accusations have been made. And so, but usually you can settle out of court. But nobody's ever, took a lawsuit in. They have the news and when they say Sharpton wears a wiretap for the government, he didn't say he didn't. He said he used to. Okay. So you have that. So you have two groups of people in New York. His power is powerful outside of New York because most folks don't know it because the press is not carrying. The press that always carry anything on Al is the New York Post, and that's where the story broke. Public-wise, and the next day other stuff started coming out. But I haven't heard anything. But this is serious. Yep. I mean, when the New York Post, and for those of you that's not aware, just Google the story where it said Al gets, I think it's $750,000 a year for the show, and then they gave him another $3 million for his organization. And so then you look at that and see which way it's going and just follow it. But it's out there now. And it's, some people won't believe it, but some people will. Some people don't believe a lot of things, and not because they're trying to cover up something. It's just you got people scared to go get examined because they think they might find cancer. you know.
Right.
And so, but when you think about, you know, you got folks like Thurgood Marshall was government agent, and when you look at all the stuff, I kind of figured it out, but I didn't figure it out. I would just ask myself a simple question. When I was in St. Louis in high school, and the 1954 Supreme Court decision came down on Brown versus Topeka, Kansas, that integrated segregation by law, you know, in America. And I kept thinking, Kansas, damn, Kansas. I mean, I've never heard nobody being lynched in Kansas, huh? I mean, this wasn't in Mississippi or Alabama, and then you find out that they made a deal, and Thurgood Marshall was part of it, and that's why he was on the Supreme Court so fast. The Southerners didn't balk about it, but they didn't want, you know. I mean, this happened in 1954. Now I can pull that off the top of my head. Yep, you know, with all the stuff been going on. And so that's what the Southerners was worried about. That Mississippi, Alabama would take that negative hit forever. And that was the deal they made. And so you sit and you see, you know, when you think about that Roots and Malcolm, none of that was written by Alex Haley. You know, Alex Haley had never done a magazine article. He came out of naval intelligence.
Alex Haley, you saying?
Alex Haley, yeah.
Right.
And they get by with it because black folks ain't going to do nothing for themselves. So anybody that do something, that's why we love athletes so much. Athletes have never freed nobody as an athlete, okay? Nothing whatsoever. To be big paychecks, and most of them die broke, okay? But we fall for that, like white America too. They fall for it, but there's different circumstances. And then you got black folks saying, well, why don't they pool their money together? You ever had Jews talk about pool your athletic money together? Huh? What you gonna do with it? They've been doing what they're doing since they was 5 years old, okay? And so when Alex Haley come through, the great thing now is radios like this here, and the internet, because if you Google, you know, what there's certain things that you can hear that you can pull it out. One, Alex Haley, those books, the fastest way to become a billionaire is books. Stephen King and all of them, multi-billionaires, books. And so consequently, if you look from the money trail down on all the stuff that Alex was supposed to have done, it's $1 billion to him. We're talking about worldwide. Well, if you look at when he died, or better still, when they killed him, they ended up auctioning off his farm to pay off his bills. Well, what kind of money was he getting? Huh? And so consequently, one of the fascinating things about Roots was Ken Sakuda. That came out of a white guy's book, who wrote one of the best books on Africa, Harry Colander. Well, you follow the trail. I mean, first, why, as a book writer, successful, do I have to have auctions off? Because the people I owe it to must be a fool. Because if I'm a drug addict, an alcoholic, a gambler, you get book royalties every 6 months. So if I've auctioned off, if I've gambled away everything, snorted up everything, you know, all you got to do is go in the federal court and put a freeze on the money I owe you. I can't gamble that away because I haven't got it. That's what you do with people that's getting royalties. And so consequently, so evidently he must not have been getting Harry Colander. senior editor at the time, Playboy magazine, wrote all of that stuff, every bit of it. And I think what you ought to do is, for the listeners, you see, information is good, but it's even better when you get it from people that you trust. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
And you should go in the computer, and the lawsuit was in upstate New York, and get the records. Nothing to get the records is public domain. And then you find out that the federal judge that handled the case said to Alex Haley, I've been doing this for like 30-some years. Talking about the judge, right? I've never seen nothing as filthy and as low down as what you want to pull out. And so he made him pay him $650,000 and come into court the next day and admit under oath that was a fraud. And he did. So the records are there, you know. And so a lot of people, you know, heard it or was able to pull it up, and it's there. The problem is, how come the New York Times didn't touch it? Then you know that's government. How come the Washington Post didn't touch it? How come the NBC and CBS, and they're going to bust down Williams when the network promotes that, you know?
Right.
I don't know what they're after him about, but whatever it is, they shut him down. He'll never get that job back. Or maybe he was doing something else with some newspaper folks that was going to, you know, publish it or a book or something. They just took him out, you know.
Do you think there's any truth to the rumors that, you know, I've been hearing this for years. I never knew how true it was or not. That Al Sharpton tried to set up a Afeni Shakur. He wore a wire to try to set up to, so they could arrest him.
No. New York Post, they ran a 5-series story on him and talked to government agents. So look, if I raped a 5-year-old child and I'm babysitting for you and your child ends up getting raped, why wouldn't you think I did it, huh? You're dealing with rumors, huh? And so I'm saying it's out there. All you got to do is go to reputable folks and people. It's there, you know. But you can't go to the New York Times and Washington Post because if it's government, they're not going to run it. They're not going to run it at all. And so consequently, you know, for you young people, there was a woman named Martha Mitchell. You ever heard of her?
No.
Okay. Well, that's an assignment you have. She was married to John Mitchell, who was the U.S. Attorney General under Richard Nixon, okay? Now, when you become the U.S. Attorney General, right, you become the number one cop in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
You America's cop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she overheard the old white boys sitting around the house one Saturday, you know, where women is not allowed in the room. You don't tell them, they just know they're not, right? And she heard the old powerful white boys discussing blowing up the World Trade Building, huh? And she couldn't wait till they left, and she confronted John. Did I hear you all talking about blowing up the World Trade Building? I don't know, but if they was talking about it, it wasn't me. They might have been talking about it. And she said, well, I think the American people need to know about it, so I'm going to hold a press conference Monday and announce it, right? She got kidnapped. Now, it's one thing kidnapping the Attorney General's wife. To this day, nobody's been arrested, huh? Okay? Did you hear what I just said?
Mm-hmm.
And while she was kidnapped, she said they shot her in the butt with a cancer shot, and that's what she died from. Well, this is America. Do whatever they want to do because, you see, I've always said if I ever took over the country, I'd make black folks apologize to white folks because we mad at the wrong white folks. The white folks we mad at couldn't help us if they liked us. Do you really believe the Ku Klux Klan determined public policy, huh? You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, you remember the story of the brother in down Downstar, Georgia, where they found him dead in the gym?
Right.
in the corner, and everybody said that he either committed suicide or he got trapped in there and smothered to death. Okay, all right. Now we find out that there was a girl, two brothers, and a father. And I'm saying this for a reason. The girl lured him, white girl lured him over to the gym. The two brothers beat him to death, and the father instigated all of it. He was an FBI agent. That's what the FBI now is so scared. How will this break? It's out there. It's out there. You can Google it and find out. But this goes on, every day. I'm the one who released the pictures with the bullet in Ron Brown's head. They took that plane down. Wasn't nobody on it. They killed everybody. Then crashed the plane and made like it was a plane wreck. They couldn't deny it when I released the pictures because the white folks at the Armed Force Institute of Pathology, they the ones that did the autopsy. They gave it to me, okay? And they wasn't denying that that's what happened, okay? So that's America.
Speaking of attorney generals, the outgoing attorney general Eric Holder, he was in a recent he was being interviewed by Mike Allen, and Mike Allen asked him what book would he recommend any young man to read, coming to Washington, and he stated that he would tell them to read the autobiography of Malcolm X. Now, considering everything happening in this country...
Wait.
Yeah.
Did he say why he wanted to read that?
Yeah, he stated that he wanted people to see what Malcolm went through when he was young and his transition into becoming a Muslim, and then his transition into having respect for all of humanity. So he was talking about his journey, and he loved the journey that he went through.
Okay, was he Attorney General when he told him that?
This was recently. I mean,
okay. Well, no, I asked you that because when you're Attorney General, you have access to all kinds of stuff. Okay.
Right.
Now let me tell you what happened and see why I got more access than he did. Okay. All right. They deliberately, on page 122 of the Malcolm book, right? You see, Alex Haley came in here from Naval Intelligence, okay? He traveled with Malcolm. He stayed with Malcolm, okay? So when Malcolm is killed, the book comes out. Nobody didn't realize that's not what Malcolm told him, huh? Nobody. So they think all that stuff is in that nasty, no-good, double-crossing book that Alex told. Okay, now the Attorney General don't know that, huh? Okay, on page 122, they got Malcolm saying Dick Gregory told him about Elijah Muhammad's women. I didn't know Elijah had any women. Okay, but John Doe, read that. You believe it because there's nobody to tell you that it wasn't, huh? Oh, they ran to me and asked me about doing nothing. That filthy movie. You mean y'all don't know this, huh? And so automatically, here's what the plan was. The first time you was introduced to Malcolm X, okay? You hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
What did you know about him at your age?
The first time I was introduced to him?
Yeah, through information or literature.
Just that he was Muslim, and that pretty much what they tell you in the movie. I didn't know too much. No. I'm saying before. You didn't know nothing about him being a damn pimp, huh? No. Or selling drugs, okay? So that's all the world ever knew of Malcolm. One of the finest speakers in the history of the planet, right? Oh, we heard every night he was in jail. We heard him. He was Malcolm read and all that stuff, huh? But we never saw it, huh?
We never saw it. If you turn on the news and find out that 5 people was murdered yesterday, but if you was passing by that corner and saw that, you will not talk about nothing else. You don't want to go see no damn football game tomorrow. So we had never seen that, until the movie come out. How many people read the whole book,
Right.
You saw the movie Malcolm, right?
Mhm.
Okay, now there's a scene in there where Malcolm was in the barbershop getting his hair combed. Remember that?
Yeah.
And the water pipes was froze, right?
Mhm.
And they couldn't get no water because conch is lie, right?
Mhm.
And so they carried him into the bathroom and stuck his head down in a commode, right?
Mhm.
Remember that scene?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, look at the toilet, okay? In order to get water into your hair, you got to put your head so far down in there, you would drown because your nose get to the water before it gets to your hair, okay? But here's all the folks, here's the hero looking at Malcolm put his head in the toilet where people do, okay?
Mhm.
Those little things, that hits you, And then after that, you didn't see no more. After that movie, you didn't see no more Malcolm X T-shirts. I'm doing college speaking dates, and I go up there, 90% of the white children that come to the lecture got Malcolm X caps on, right? That's how they killed it. That's what it was about. That's how they killed it. Now, let me take it further than that. Malcolm did not know, neither did Elijah Muhammad know, that those letters that Malcolm was getting with Muhammad's Elijah's name on it was coming from J. Edgar Hoover. The letters that Elijah was getting with Malcolm's name was coming from J. Edgar Hoover. Set up the whole thing. Okay. Now, what we look at is the book comes out, and why wouldn't you think, the book, and then the movie comes out, and now they dramatize the whole bit, right? Now Malcolm called me that Sunday morning that they assassinated him, and he said, "Brother Greg, Brother Malcolm, I was working at the village gate, or Basin Street East, closing that Sunday night. They talked to Malcolm the day before. Me and Evan Powell had hung out with him a couple of days. And Malcolm had started carrying a gun. That's what fear do to you, right? I said, Malcolm, suppose you're chasing somebody who shot at you down the street and you hit and kill a 7-year-old child. Your stuff is over, man. Your stuff is over. Now, Malcolm lived way up on a hill, so his house was firebombed. And all the news was saying Malcolm X's house had been firebombed 15 minutes ago, and the police said it was a green Pontiac license plate, such and such a thing. Well, what they were saying to the folks that did it, get rid of that car, okay? Okay? Get rid of that car. Plus, if you know Malcolm, his house was sitting like almost a half a mile from the street. So you're going to tell me somebody's going to come through a driving car and throw a Molotov cocktail out the window and it goes up to the house?
Right, yeah.
Okay, so now, when Malcolm called me and tell me, he said, this, remind you, I'm speaking at, the Alderman, I said, no, you're going to be there. I said, Malcolm, I'm going to be there. Matter of fact, I'm not going to let the government get 2 for the price of 1. He said, I'm sorry you feel, no, I feel that way. No, but they're after you, man, not me. And I said, and I love you so much, man. Let me tell you what I had my wife, Lillian, book me a date 2 weeks ago, Sunday morning, at a college located by O'Hare Field in Chicago. And so I'll leave here in another hour and a half. And when you're there, I can't even get the urge to come and see you, man. Just like that. And so I'm speaking, and the guy bring me a note up and said they just killed Malcolm a few minutes ago. Now we go through the whole thing. And, you know, I'm used to being scared in the South or whatever hits you before fear. But the first time I knew it could happen, the first time I ever thought they're gonna blow up the funeral. They had police, they had National Guard on the rooftop. And I know if it happened, they're the ones gonna do it, right? But I went anyway. I went anyway to the funeral. I'm thinking about, wow, man. So now let's take it past that. Malcolm X was in the Island Ballroom. You saw all the pictures. He was up on the stage speaking. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And somebody released a stink bomb in the back. You know about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And while the people was running and hollering and screaming, people with their children and stuff, these black men rushed up to the stage, right? They was on the floor. Malcolm was up on the stage, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And they shoot him. And the next thing you see is Malcolm's on the floor, and you see this black man giving him mouth to mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we find out the black man is a New York undercover agent. So undercover, his paycheck comes from the New York utilities companies, right? Now, what does that mean? It means this. When you shot in the chest, you don't give mouth to mouth because you die from air bubbles in the lung. So if you look at Malcolm's autopsy and Lee Harvey Oswald's autopsy, they both died from the same thing, air bubbles in the lung. Because they shoot you in the chest and they have somebody run up there and look like a good Samaritan. Okay, so now it goes on and it goes on. So then find out that Malcolm's whole mindset changed. And you know the beautiful thing about the innocence of people, when Malcolm was assassinated, everybody around the world was told by NBC, CBS, ABC, FBI, okay, everybody, that it was the Nation of Islam, right?
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother don't know nothing about no Nation of Islam except she see them on the corner. They're very clean. They're very neat. You never hear them cuss. As much as the white America hated them, none of them was ever been busted for drugs. They never found drugs in the mosque or nothing like that, right? And so there was a whole game. It's like Tiger Woods. And black folks, old black folks loved him. Why? He went to Stanford. They didn't know he never graduated from Stanford, right? He wasn't too dark for them. Do I need to repeat that twice? Huh?
Mm.
Okay?
Mm.
They didn't know nothing about if you was turning the channel and saw golf, you just kept turning, right?
Right.
All right. So now the black folks was coming up here so fast from the South that they didn't have enough time to build churches. They didn't have the money, right? So what the churches did, they started having 3 services. One at 9, one at 11 o'clock, right? Well, that's the original one. Do you know black folks would not go to no service but the 11 o'clock service because they say God wasn't at them other ones, right? Then here come Tiger Woods, right? so what time do the golf start? Sunday, 12 o'clock, right?
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't go to church and be there. Them black folks are going to the 7 o'clock service, man, so they can see their man.
So they can see.
Now, watch this. When Tiger Woods started getting sick and missing games, right, and looked like he wasn't going to play no more, right,
mm-hmm.
Do you know the crowd at all your major golf decreased by 50%? Did you know that?
Wow.
Huh?
I didn't know that.
And here's the reason. 50% of all the white folks that went to the golf tournament, 50% went there so they could be there to see him lose, okay?
Wow.
So if he's not playing, they don't have to go. Okay, now, watch this and I'll get back to Malcolm. Watch this now. So he had to win 4 more games to tie, what's his name? The white boy.
Jack Nicklaus?
Jack Nicklaus. He had to win 5 more to be the number 1 all-time champ, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the whooping was about. That was a mob whooping. I know somebody that knows somebody at the hospital they brought him to, right? And one of my research get a call and they passed the word off to me that if I came down there tonight and they carried me into his room, if they didn't tell me, okay, he was Tiger Woods, I wouldn't have known him. He was beat unrecognizable. That was a mob whooping, okay?
Wow.
All right?
Wow.
Now, all the stuff started coming out, right? All the stuff started coming out. Everything. All the women. Well, the one woman that you know how long it was set up because the woman he married, his wife, his what's the guys that hang with you, your caddy, right?
Yeah.
He was the caddy's white girlfriend, the white woman Tiger met, right? So you see how long that plot was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now the one white girl he carried to Sweden to see him play, right? She was underage, right? So there's a law that's on the books but not supposed to be on the books, and I'll explain that, why I'm saying that. She was underage, so there's a law called white slavery law, right? You aware of that?
No.
A teenager across state lines for immoral.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
They passed that over 100 years ago to shut down Jack Johnson, the greatest boxer that ever lived, right? Heavyweight, okay? And one of the senators said, well, this don't fit him because that's his wife. He said, any white woman that would have sex with a nigger is a hoe. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's follow this now. So they bust him on that, and he was arrogant, man. They couldn't do nothing less than just kill him. He flaunted them, you know. This is my woman, my wife. Tell me what to do, right? And so he's in jail, and after that, almost 70-some years, they didn't let another Negro become heavyweight champ of the world. And when Joe Louis became heavyweight champ, there was a deal made. The first 20 fights you have, this white group will split 50-50. You have nothing to say about it. If you don't do it, the world will never hear of you, okay? And if you win, they know he's a win. All they got to do is throw fights for him, huh?
Right.
And he don't even have to know it, right? And so, and if you win, you can never throw your hands up in the air, right? Because we think it would cause a riot in the stadium. So if you look at the footage, they didn't have TV then. You would see after the fight, all he would say is, how mama this, I thank God I win. I had another lucky day. That's all he would say, okay?
Wow.
Then a movie came out called King Kong. Did you see it?
Yeah. A
gorilla with a white lady. What city was it? In New York or Chicago?
I think it was New York.
Right, okay. Why was it New York? Because it was a story of Jack Johnson and the white lady. Did you ever ask yourself, man, why would a gorilla be in New York? Ain't no trees and Lord, ain't no bananas.
Yeah.
What's in New York, the symbol Madison Square Garden, the boxing capital of the world. Okay, see how it works? See how it works? So that law is still on the books. Now, I'm not telling you this from proof. I don't need no proof on this. I know about the whooping. I didn't let them send me the pictures because it's a federal law to have somebody else's hospital records, right? Mm-hmm. So, all at once now, I know the deal they must have made with him. So, underage girl you took, well, we're going to give you 5 to 10 years in jail. So your golf shit's over anyway, huh? Nah, if you want to beat that, we'll have an open investigation, huh? And you play for a little while longer, and then you hurt your leg or hurt your back or hurt your arm, and then you shut the stuff down. We have what you have, okay? Yeah. That's where that goes, okay? And now consequently, we'll get back to Malcolm, and so all that was woven in there. So Malcolm ends up. The beautiful thing is, man, I'm 83 years old, man. I know black folks would never be a Muslim, huh? In life, but I've never seen a race of people stop eating a certain food because of a Muslim. I know black folks stopped eating pork, okay? Because of the Muslim, the teachings, the whole thing, man. Would never be a Muslim if their life depended on it. But they
stop eating pork. Right.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Stop eating pork. And now you go in the restaurant and say, I like such and such. So, you know, got a little pork in it. That's the owner tell you that, huh? That's the power that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had, huh? Okay? And so I had my cousin, was a Muslim, born into it. And I said to him, I said, hey, man, Merry Christmas. And he said, I ain't no Merry Christmas. I don't believe in no whitey Christmas holiday. I said, brother, let me tell you something. If Christmas come on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and your bank is closed, you believe in it.
Crazy.
Okay. And then I said, now, I'm going to take you to my Black Baptist church, right? My Black Baptist church. And you're going to see this black preacher standing there, and right behind him, you're going to see a white Jesus, right? Now, I'll go to your temple. I'll see the Honorable Elijah Muhammad standing there, and right behind him, I see the white boy named Farad. That's the same symbol. Okay. What you lawyer? It's the same symbol, huh? And so, consequently, if you got an old black woman, old black man, running down the street from some thugs, and they see a cop on the corner over there, and they see a pimp over there, and a Muslim standing there with the newspaper, they'll run to him because they know they're safe, huh? Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, that was deep, yeah.
Okay, they'd run to him because they know while they standing there, they're not going to hear no cussing, They're not going to see no dope deals being made at the bus stop, huh? Now, so when the thing happened and they swore it was the nation of Islam, not one nation of Islam had to get off the corner the day he was killed or any time after, because there's something in black folks' spirit. They know they was lying. They didn't know nothing else. They know those folks that I see did not do that. Huh? Now let's go back to the Ottoman ballroom. The brother that was mouth to mouth, he's CIA agent now. Okay, and so now we find out that the federal government has the autopsies on Malcolm X. Well, hey, wait a minute, hold it. Oh, come on, y'all. That wasn't a federal crime. It wasn't robbing a bank. Why y'all doing the autopsy? So I hit some of my strings. When they sent a Chicago Tribune front page story, me and Hoover's picture on the front page, headlines, use mob to kill Dick Gregory. Okay, that's this viciousness. that black folks and white folks just walk down the street and think you living in such a wonderful place, you're going to be woke up to a rude awakening, huh? The problem wasn't that he sent the message. The problem was I got to tell Expo Johnson, the head of the FBI in Chicago, got it. Okay.
Wow.
Now, wait a minute. And what's worse than that, when the Chicago Tribune did a front page story, New York Times, okay, the Chicago Sun, L.A. Times, no other paper ran that story. Come on, y'all. If it would have been the opposite, that they intercepted, well, I had some hit people to wipe out who, it would have been in every paper, even in funny books, been in children's little readers, huh? So I know how filthy this country is. You all out there listening don't know. That's how Hitler took over. That's how Hitler took over. And I don't carry no gun. Huh? I'm listed in the phone book. Huh? My children growing up getting those nasty letters. I didn't know when they was going to plant drugs on them or set them up or kill them. I remember an agent told me, he said, you're not worried about us killing you? If I thought the God I prayed to couldn't protect me against y'all's filth or the filth of America, I'd help y'all pull the trigger, man. Okay? You see, I know that we were sent here to heal the nation, not by Mount Sinai Hospital, by the same God. See, there's different than a God in a church. I love church, man. I go by there. Wow. And I tell the world the strongest two forces in the history of America is the black woman and the black church. And we black men. In order for you to get me, who do you call? My agent or who?
Your wife.
No, my wife. I know who the black woman is.
Mm-hmm.
I know who the black woman is. Do you know a black woman in America is the only woman in the history of the planet that can take a butter knife and cut your ties to the rim?
Right, you told me that before. Right.
You hear me?
Yeah.
So nobody else can do it, right? That's her. We don't even see that, huh? We don't even see who she is, right? And so consequently, we sit here to heal, huh? We are lightness, huh? We light. The evil, corrupt folks, they dark. They represent the moon. We represent the sun. Huh? But when lightness becomes scared of darkness, real simple, we leave the show tonight and we go to a little rural area outside of New York City. And there's a building 10 times bigger than a football field. And it's nighttime. And we open up the door, and it's pitch black in there, but there's 2 million rats in there and 4 million roaches. All we got to do is turn the light on, and they'll haul ass, right?
Right.
That's the power of light, huh? If the 12 o'clock noon lasted 1/10 billion of a second longer, everything on planet Earth would be wiped out, okay? That's the power of light, huh? And then we got nerve enough to let them reduce us down to a pimp mentality, huh? In a nasty country that have good schools and bad schools. Did you hear what I just said? Have you ever heard of a good Pepsi Cola or bad Pepsi Cola?
No.
They say, man, don't go to that bar because they don't know how to make a good rum and coke. They don't know how to make a good Mai Tai, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I live in a country and then duped to believe like white folks at Harvard and Yale are good schools. Real rich, powerful people wouldn't send a rat to Harvard or Yale, okay? So just ask you a simple ghetto question. If your daughter went to Harvard Medical School, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter went to Ole Miss Medical School, which one around the world got the better degree? If me and you go to Harvard tonight and just ask for change for $1, but we want it in dimes, how many dimes they give us?
10 dimes.
We go to Ole Miss tonight and ask for change for $1, we want it in dimes. How many dimes they give us?
10.
Okay, I live in a system that has more unification with changing my damn dollar than dealing with my mind through education, huh? That's America. Huh? Oh, yeah, John got this job, and he works there and got his children going to good schools. My other brother, they go to bad schools. Something wrong with that, huh? So-and-so Catholic school is a good school. So-and-so is a bad school. But is that the same folks that's ripping off them little boys' booty? Huh? That's what you telling me? $1 trillion industry, but yet the Baptist church, huh? They got little gays in there, but they're not ripping off. I don't have to worry about my children. And see, a pedophile is one thing. A pedophile priest is something else. Why? A pedophile can get to your child, huh? But you didn't send them to him, huh? I sent my children to the Catholic Church, huh?
Right.
Okay? And so when you sit and you look at where this is, and for those of you all that's listening, when you do listening to the show, go to your computer and put this date in, February the 2nd, 2013. January the 2nd, 2013. And punch up Vatican, the Bank of Italy suspended all Vatican credit cards, okay? You didn't see that in the New York Times or Washington Post.
Say that one more time to the people.
Go punch up on your computer